Okay, so this is for group three, Vanna Beshi, Kate Barrett, Breasia Joshua, and Matthew Nichols. We wanted to explore the saying that um, elite athletes are always improving. And we hear that, said, I think every 4 years, the Olympics, people are running faster, world records are constantly being broken. So we wanted to take as a subset all of the gold medal winners in a handful of events and really see and try to put into perspective how much these athletes have improved. Here are the group members as discussed, and kind of that mission statement as well, right? That we always hear it stated that athletes continue to improve and competition intensifies and training regimens get better and nutrition improves. So we really, I guess, just want to take a look at this relationship for ourselves between the time that has passed since this data set contained Olympic data, and really just wanted to look for the trends that pertain to gold medal winners, right? So this would give us the idea of what the top performance in each one of these specific events would be. So what we wanted to know. We wanted to know, are Olympic athletes stronger now than they were before, right? And we expected them to be stronger today. And as a good representative of this, we chose to go with the shot put, right? That's a difficult kind of spinning rotational sport, has an heavy object involved. And I think when it comes to track and field events, it's kind of a good example of something that requires strength. And if you've looked at them, you have no doubt that those people are strength athletes. The other thing we were looking at was, can Olympic athletes jump further than they previously could, right? Obviously, that's going to be the long jump. And we expect that they do, in fact, jump further than they did, 100 years ago. The other question was, do they jump higher, right? So same thing, same kind of idea, high jump. Let's take a look at that. And are they running faster compared to previous data? And I think really a lot of the time for this, you could have gone, like, you just want to know how fast they are, right? It could have been a 100 meter or whatever, but we wanted to go just kind of a maintained speed, right? Sustained speed. So we went with 5,000, 10,000 distance runners. So we just wanted to know if, I mean, literally you're faster, but you can kind of maintain that speed, right? Rather than where it could be argued that the explosively fast sprinters, like their workout regimen looks a lot like strength athletes. So, yeah. So the first set that we're looking at is the gold medal shot put data. And the data shows the distance in meters that the ball is thrown. And then if we notice here, um, the data was not recorded for women's competitions until, about 50 years later than men's. So, however, we can see that with the exception of a few outliers, like the capacity for the men has almost doubled, right? They were throwing it 11 and a half or 11.2 meters back in 1890. And then, looking at now, they're over 22 meters for the distance that's thrown. That's impressive. And then kind of similarly, we see this curve in the data here for the women's, but again, from 15 meters when they got into the sport, you will see them here kind of, all the way up to 20 meters. So that's a substantial increase. And we would say that, I mean, we would be kind of forced to conclude that athletes competed at this level are significantly stronger today than when they originally, the competition was being recorded. Another thing that we wanted to look at was the long jump, right? We want to see if athletes are jumping further. And for this one, we are looking that, again, the women's data doesn't start till about 1950. Um, Again, same kind of scale, the distances in meters. And the men's data shows a clear improvement from the beginning to the most recent data. I mean, there is some variance, right? But it's still night and day, from the 6.5 or 6.35 meters all the way to the 8.54 that they're at, most recently in the data set. And we see some peaks up here of maybe 8.67 meters. And then similarly, there is some variance, right, between early 90s to 2000 to 2008, 2014, whatever these are, roughly with dates down here. But we can see that overall, this trend, there's a large increase and kind of holds water that athletes can, in fact, jump further than they could. Let's go ahead and take a look at the high jump. Similarly, on this one, we see that we have a upwards trend. The data again indicates the high jump distance in meters. We see a steady increase in both the men's and the women's categories. This one, the limitations aren't as obvious. The years in between here, the women's did start being recorded around 1930. And yeah, I mean, there's a substantial increase and trend that would cause us to conclude that athletes competing at this level today are jumping, much higher than recorded. All right, and then this beauty here. This shows the increases in speed for distance runners, right? We have our men's and our women's, along with the different kind of events. So the women are going to be in orange, the men are going to be in blue. And then according to the shape of the symbol here, we're going to see that these have decreased in time, right? Starting in 1910, they used to take 14 minutes to get through the 5,000 meter. And then nowadays, we're somewhere closer to 13 minutes, a substantial increase or decrease in time there, therefore showing that people have been going faster. Similarly, for the 5,000 meter women's, we're seeing a decrease in the time taken to complete the event. And that can be seen again very clearly for the men's 10,000 meters. And the women's 10,000 meters has this trend as well. Therefore, I think we can conclude that athletes competing at this, the most elite level of the sport, show that they are vastly, vastly improved in the time that it takes to complete the event. So what are our conclusions then? Well, we conclude that athletes competing and winning gold in the Olympic Games today are achieving scores that show that they are stronger, faster, and can jump both further and longer than athletes winning at the beginning of these games being recorded. On average, we track these improvements as steady while the games progress throughout time. We hypothesize that this could be attributed to competition, could also be, the wide array of information on nutrition that's out there, and just a more intensive kind of specialized training that we're seeing from athletes in the modern era.